Isaiah, let's get right into it. Who are you? What's your background? What's your story?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I just want to say that I've got a special place in my heart for Brazilians. I was down for the World Cup a couple of years ago, and actually before I got to Brazil, I didn't know a single person. And through a friend of a friend, I got hooked up with a family down there, and then like a friend of a friend of a friend. And I only stayed in a hostel one night in 5 weeks. And I just kind of got lent around to different Brazilians all over the place, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. So yeah, got a lot of respect for you guys and really enjoyed your country. I'll talk quickly about me. I started the Enscholar Educational Foundation, and our mission is to help students from around the world find fulfilling careers. We've created 2 web platforms. One is a system to help students identify their interests, strengths, and values in different careers. And our second that we just launched in the summer is called Try It. And Try It is a community curation of the best STEM education resources and opportunities for students. So we've curated over 5,000 videos, internships, scholarships, events, apps, tutorials. Everything is completely free. We've had students from 40 countries use the tools, and we're doing a few things now. But anyways, yeah, we've had a number of Brazilians actually work with us in the past. We've had Sam, we've had Will, Fernanda, Raquel, and a few others. So yeah, we're a team that spans right now 4 countries. We've got about 12 of us. We're all volunteers at this point. And yeah, so we're looking to get some traction and expand even further.
That's awesome. Yeah. So as I mentioned to everybody, we already had some VanHackers participate, and as I just mentioned, a couple of them. So tell us maybe what like, there's a lot of questions people have, but what roles or kind of what skills are you guys looking for to join the team? And how can someone do that? What's the process of joining and helping out with your mission?
Sure. So again, first of all, full disclosure, we are all volunteers at this point. We are basically seeking funding and looking at different options. We are a nonprofit. And I don't get paid either. So that's the first thing. But what are we looking for? Well, we're always looking for, obviously, web developers, front end and back end. Especially devs that have experience with Ruby on Rails and a good sense of design. So proficiency with JavaScript, HTML, CSS, the basics, but at the same time having a portfolio of things that kind of prove that you know how to design as well. So we've had a lot of different types of devs from different backgrounds, from full stack to working on small projects and apps and things. But yeah, it's something where, so we developed our original platform with Ruby on Rails, and then we've done some experimentation with modifying a WordPress theme because we've got a ton of content, and we've got a lot of content contributors from, like I said, around the world. And so we've had some people helping us out with PHP as well.
Nice. PHP, Ruby, WordPress, very cool. What about design or maybe social media?
Yeah, so design is a big one. We are looking always for people that can create, for example, promotional pieces for use on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter accounts. And then, of course, people to manage those things. I imagine most of the VanHack community is either a developer or a designer, or do you have some people that are kind of social media managers too? Or?
There's definitely social media people as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it really helps if you're managing social media and you have an eye for design and can put, your Photoshop skills, your Sketch 3 skills to work and create content that looks great and is in line with our brand. Parameters and so forth. So yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Cool. We have someone here, Diana. I don't know if you can see the chat. I think it's on your side, is over here. Can you see the chat, Isaiah?
Yes, yes, there's quite a bit of activity. I see. That's great to see. Boa tarde. Sorry. That's right. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's 12 o'clock. Man, I must be sleeping in or something here, but
it's 6 p.m. there.
it's
Yeah,
6 p.m.
yeah,
Oh,
6
that's right,
a.m.
because the time change, right? Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Sorry, my bad. It's a Saturday. I must be out of it. Anyways,
No, it's fine. Thanks for and taking some time on a Saturday. It's great.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I went to the website quickly, and I didn't see a specific place where I can apply. Maybe you can send me some links, like where there's like specific job
Sure.
links to apply. Because
Sure.
there's
I can, you want me to post that in the
yeah, it's
channel?
posted in the chat.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'll do
there's
that right now.
yeah, great, great. Because I wasn't able to find it. Just make sure that everyone else can, and I'll email those out to everybody as well after this.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess the first thing I'd mention is that, and I've just posted it in there, so you should. It's a Zendesk account. We house all of our volunteer postings there, so you'll see everything from social media to dev design, outreach, and
Cool.
different
Is it
things.
is it the ambassador team? You click on the ambassador. Oh, I see. Core volunteer positions. Okay. So can you
Yeah.
see on the bottom, I think it would be on this side for everyone in the bottom right, there's writing and editing, community outreach, social media, design, web development, and human resources. Right. Great. So you guys can see there's 6 opportunities. Yeah, 6 opportunities there for everyone to join. So whatever bucket you fit into, or maybe if you don't fit into one of those buckets, like Marcelo says, you're a project manager, well, try and find, maybe you can do something else to just get started. So yeah, great.
So what I would recommend, how much time do we have, Ilya?
An hour.
We got, okay, good. We got time. um, I just wanted to say that, so if you go to the Zendesk desk page, you'll find the descriptions for each of those. And at the bottom of each, there will be an application link where you can actually fill things in. And that should give you most of the information you need to know. We keep some of it, somewhat vague because, again, we're iterating all the time. Things are changing quickly, and we don't exactly update things on a weekly basis. We do get quite a few applicants. We probably get over 10 applicants every week. And we've got a volunteer HR manager who's trying to go through all those and book the interviews and things. So, it may take us a little while, maybe a few days to a week to get to you and respond. So please be patient. We appreciate that. But the other thing is, with web development, more so than design and social media, but I think web development, to really play a key role, it's important that you've got enough time to really contribute, to take the time at the beginning to get up to speed. All of the accounts, all the logins, learn the code base and so forth. It does take a significant amount of time. And I realize that, as a volunteer, it's expensive. Brazil is an expensive place. I mean, just like Vancouver. So, I don't expect people that have 5 or 6 hours a week to spend are going to necessarily be able to kind of take on a core role. But if your time is limited, which, for most of us it is, and you can think of kind of an offshoot or something that you'd like to start on your own initiative that would contribute, kind of like a hackathon where people come up with different ideas, create things, and then if it works, if it's usable, then awesome. And if not, then that's okay too. That is another option. For example, we had some people in Brazil who were interested in reaching out in kind of South and Central America to different schools. Of course, all of the tools we've created are in English, which I realize most public schools and so forth, the English is not quite at the level to be able to use this stuff. But at the same time, I know there are certain schools, international schools, or places where they're learning English in high school specifically, where these may be of use. And by all means, since they're free, we would love to, have some kind of initiative in your area as well. We have had users, like I said, from all over the world, but it's important for us to connect. I think our volunteers, our core team, with their local populations and local students to really make this a benefit to them and their communities.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's talk about the product a little bit more. How does it
Sure.
actually work? What kind of value are you, what, you said you want to try to help people find fulfilling careers. What about, like, how do you do that?
Do you want me to share my screen, or I
Yeah,
don't know
that'd
what
be
the
great.
best way? Would that be okay? Okay.
Yeah, I think you can just do it there.
Yeah. Let me just grab this here. One quick second. By the way, thanks for waiting. I appreciate.
No, it's my fault.
That.
I put the wrong time zone, but then everyone got to hang out a little bit with me, and then we got to do a little virtual recruiter. We have some we're doing actually an event called BC. Oh, what's it called? BC Social Camp HR in Vancouver. So we had to hang out with a Hootsuite recruiter today. So that was nice.
Right on. Good stuff. Yeah. And by the way, if you haven't been to Vancouver yet, it's a beautiful place, but you might want to visit sometime between May and September, because it's been pretty much raining nonstop here for the last 2 months. And I'll be the first to say it's mildly depressing at this time of year, but anyways.
Yeah. So I'm in Chile. I'm just going to show you guys a little bit.
Oh, you're in Chile. Okay.
Yeah. It's a little bit different. Summer here.
Yeah. I'd love to be down there. So I'll give you a brief rundown of what we do at Enscholar. Like I said, we've got 2 different platforms. In the future, we'd like to connect both of them. But the first is a series of career tools. And the idea behind the career tools, and you can watch the video on your own time if you like, it's at enscholar.com. It's about a minute long. The idea is that students watch quick introductory videos that help them identify their interests, so things they're excited about, their strengths, their natural talents, their values, so the things that motivate them, and then they look at different careers. So the video is essentially, it's kind of like brainstorming. It's kind of like having a career coach, a simple career coach, where they're helping you to brainstorm these different things, create kind of like a microblog or a journal where you can put your personal information, so that in the future, when you learn more about yourself and you get experiences, say through the Try It platform, you can come back to these tools and refine your knowledge of yourself. So for example, say you're interested in something like space science or computer programming or architecture. You identify these interests in Enscholar, and then you can explore them using Try It. So Try It is, and I'll just bring it up here. It is a community of students and teachers, mostly high school students and teachers, but some university as well, that are engaging with STEM content. So science, tech, engineering, and math. And as you can see, it's kind of like Product Hunt in the sense that every day we have a leaderboard and we post different experiences, whether those are internships, scholarships, international competitions, apps, different events, mostly international events, lots of videos, career profiles, and so forth. And students can interact with them by uploading things and also by viewing collections. So a collection is just a group of related experiences, and we have centered some of those around certain topics like math for grades 11 and 12. So teachers have been, for example, using these to create supplemental resource packages for their students, and most of the time to find videos to introduce the topics that they are teaching during their classes. So for example, say you're a teacher, and you're starting your next unit on something in chemistry, and there's a topic like the periodic table. You could come to Try It and you check something out. With that, you'll find all of these different either resources or videos or tools related to the periodic table that you could use in your class to help them out. We've noticed a lot of teachers creating collections, but also students creating collections for their career, kind of like their career planning classes or personal portfolios. So for example, say you're a student and you are interested in, let's say, architecture. type that in, and then you would say, for example, add things related to your future path. So maybe scholarships to get into universities, or maybe it's something like an internship, or perhaps there are some career profiles or different videos that talk about a day in the life as an architect and things like that. So these are things that, again, you can add to your personal collection. And yeah, and most students have been creating these as either part of assignments in their classes or kind of on their own time, just to explore and to learn. So this is kind of what we're up to now. Of course, anyone can contribute an experience, and we've just integrated with a very simple Google form. So anyone can, say you come across a tool or a video that you think, hey, this is really awesome, you can submit it, and our editors will take a look and then hopefully add it to the site.
Very cool. Awesome. Is this an open source platform?
This is it's not open source at this point, but everything is completely free. So obviously the platform, creating an account on both Enscholar and Try It are free, and the experiences are free as well. I'll just show you really quickly inside the Enscholar platform. And this is the kind of the profile page. And the idea here is that students work through their interests, strengths, values, again, through the different activities, and build up this database of their own personal information. So for example, you can type in your different interests here, and then get some example content. You'll watch a video, and then also you can do different activities like stacking and sorting your different things. We've got, I'll show you. So you'll watch a video. I've created most of these videos, so that kind of primes you for what's coming next. And then you've got the section at the end, which is kind of like a mini journal that allows you to kind of elaborate on your different interests. So say you're interested in computer programming. You know, a lot of students are, but what makes a difference is if they spend the time to think about, you know, what specifically do I like about computer programming? Is it that I like to just be alone and creating and building things? Is it the fact that I like to kind of launch and scale and try to get users for my different tools? Is it because I like a certain language? Is it because I like to solve certain problems? You know, what is it about computer programming or architecture or you know, biology that you really like? And we do, or we have some pretty quick assessments for the different things. So this is for assessing your strengths, and you would go through and assess these things. And then at the end of each section, there's a bit of a discussion. It's a little bit text heavy, but it helps students to analyze their different strengths and gives them some examples of other student profiles and how to analyze the results. So, you know, in one sense, we know that students are looking for kind of that magic bullet or that silver bullet, which, you know, they pump in some answers, and then, you know, the magic algorithm is going to give them whatever they're going to do with their career. But we think that no technology, no matter how sophisticated, can really tell you what you're going to do with your life. It's a matter of helping equip students to think critically and independently about what they're going to do with their lives. And to do that, we've created the career match or the alignment tool. And if you can see this here, basically what it is we've got a database of, I think it's about 150 careers. So there's not a ton of careers, but there are enough that a student can, for example, hop in here, and, you know, based on your strengths, we might give you some suggestions, but these are just suggestions. You can also look and browse through a list. But say, for example, and these aren't all STEM careers here, but let's say we take computer programmer. So we've actually linked to some external videos, so you kind of learn a bit about a computer programmer, and then you can click on some links that will tell you about, you know, what that job's like, maybe some earnings information, and then also some videos. And these are a curated list of different videos related to that career that we've put together. We haven't created these videos ourselves, but we link to them. And in that sense, you, as a student, can kind of assess whether that's going to be a good fit. And then from here, as a student, you choose how you think your interests. So for example, the interests that you saw in the first section here, designing, building, physics, architecture. This is my interest, and then this is my kind of little journal that I wrote. And then you have to decide how you think this career of computer programmer aligns with each of these.
Very cool. Very cool. It's very detailed. You can definitely see you put a lot of work into it. Let's take some questions.
It takes time to go through, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe actually I have a question. How many people have gone through it? How like maybe some success cases of students that have helped or you've gotten help with?
Well, you know, right now we've been limited with the amount of outreach that we can do because we've been focused on the product, and as a volunteer team, obviously that takes quite a bit of time. We try to, again, as any lean startup, really build and then iterate as quickly as possible based on user feedback. So we've been running workshops in classrooms, workshops, webinars. So for example, we've got in the States, the North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics, and they've been using the site to kind of create career profiles, but also assess their different interest, strengths, and values. And yeah, we hold webinars with them to talk about these different things. We've gone to a number of local high schools here in Metro Vancouver. I run Pro D-Day workshops for career counselors. In fact, on Tuesday, I spoke to about 100 of them here in Metro Vancouver, and we're talking to some different school districts about potentially using the tools. But I would say the main thing here is that a student will not necessarily get the full value, I believe at least, right away from just, okay, I spend an hour on Enscholar and boom, I know what I'm going to do. It's not like that as much. It's more so an iteration loop. And to do that, to kind of talk about that really quickly, I'm actually going to bring up something that I think some of you will be familiar with. Let's see if this works. So all of you have probably heard of build, measure, learn, I'm guessing. Yeah, okay. So the idea is, I'm not sure why that keynote thing's popping up there, but anyways, the idea of build, measure, learn is you create an MVP or a product that's just good enough to get by. You test it out immediately with your users. You get feedback, and then you iterate. You change it. You pivot. You improve it. And what we try to do is apply that concept to career learning. So this is how the Enscholar tools and Try It fit together. So let's take, for example, Emily here. Emily goes through the learning tools. She identifies her interests, strengths, and values. So that's enscholar.com. And then she connects it with a career hypothesis. So for example, she thinks she wants to be a programmer. And that's what I showed you the last time with the alignment between your interests and your career. So that's on the Enscholar platform as well. But the idea is that once you think you want to be a programmer, how do you connect with experiences immediately where you can test out this career hypothesis? And that's where Try It comes in. So say, for example, Emily says, hey, I think I want to be a programmer based on what I've done on Enscholar. And now I go to Try It, and I can find some different experiences. Maybe she finds like a summer camp, or maybe it's an online hackathon or an in-person hackathon in her area. Or maybe it's a tool like code.org. There's something called Hour of Code that I'm sure you're all familiar with. Maybe it's something on Khan Academy where she can actually play a little game and learn about some of the basics. But how can students test out their career hypothesis as quickly as possible and then learn from that, refine their knowledge, and then repeat the loop? So say, for example, Emily, she tries some different platforms on Try It. She engages with some different tools or events, or maybe she just finds a video about what it's like to be a computer programmer. And she realizes, what, that's not really for me. I think what I thought I liked about computer programming was more the information, the numbers, and analysis. And so she refines her self-knowledge, goes back to Enscholar, makes some edits, some adjustments, and then from there, she Sorry. See if this opens up. She decides maybe a data scientist is kind of more her thing. And then from there, she goes into try it, finds some experiences related to data science, and then repeats that loop. So it's essentially applying a startup principle, or kind of like a business principle or tech principle, to the career search for students. And we found that to be very beneficial. So yeah, it's a little bit more complex than your traditional career assessment, but we think it's working. And so far, the response has been really positive.
That's really cool. I think there's some similarities here between how VanHack helps people improve their career abroad and how you help teenagers and high school students, maybe some university students, find their careers as well. So I think that's really cool. It's definitely a passion that we share.
Exactly. And again, I imagine most of the people in VanHack are looking for maybe that first opportunity or first couple opportunities, maybe to, again, move abroad. But I would really encourage you, and again, Enscholar working with us is really about fulfilling this process, right? If you think you want to be a designer and you say, hey, maybe Enscholar is a good experience for me, just to test out things, right? Maybe I don't like design as much as I think I do. This is kind of an opportunity for you to actually test it out, use your imagination, be creative, and try to contribute, and then see if this is the right thing for you. Because as I tell a lot of students, there is a huge demand, of course, for developers, designers, people in STEM. But at the same time, we don't just need mediocre people in STEM. We need great people in STEM. And if there's something that really drives you more, that you're better at, that your strengths are better aligned with, it's important that you find that, no matter where the careers are, it's important that you find something that you can be great at. And so yeah, that is one thing that we try to help students do, and one thing that we're cognizant of as we bring on volunteers.
Nice. So how's that process? You said you're already getting 10 applications a week. How many people are part of it? Like, just for everyone to know, like, just because you want to volunteer for Enscholar doesn't mean you will. Like, to be blunt, to be very upfront with this, it's not like everyone who wants to be part of it will be part of it. You guys are looking for good people that are dedicated, and volunteer is always that kind of tricky thing, right? Because the person might be excited at first, and then afterwards something comes up, and since they don't have that motivation financially, it's easy to give up. Like, how have you dealt with that? And what do you look for in someone when they're doing a job interview with you? Maybe we can talk about kind of job hunting skills after, but how are you dealing with that? And yeah, what are you looking for in people?
Sure. Yeah, and I'd be happy to answer questions about job search, because like I said, I work with a lot of students. I actually work at Simon Fraser University part-time as a case competition coach. So I work with undergraduate business students, and I coach the international case team. So I'm very involved with kind of coaching and development. So that's something that I like to talk about as well. But yeah, we do get quite a few applicants. I would say the number one thing is, do you have the time to contribute as a designer or developer? As I said, to really come on to the core team as a developer, you've got to have, I'm going to say, at least 15 plus hours per week, which I realize for most people is just not possible, because you're trying to make ends meet, you're trying to put food on the table, pay the rent. So for core team developers, you really got to have the time, but plus a portfolio of work that shows that you've done things, and preferably things that are actually live online that we can look at the front end. GitHub accounts, we look through that too, but it's important that it's live and we can actually interact with it.
Nice.
The other thing is, say you don't have that much time, say you've got like 5-10 hours a week, but you're excited about our cause and our mission, and you think maybe this would benefit some of the students around you, whether you're in Brazil or Chile or wherever. Then what we do is we also accept proposals from other people who think they might be able to do something with the Enscholar tools. So say, for example, they've got a community that you think might benefit. So they create some promotional material, use their design skills, even create maybe a Brazilian Portuguese site, a very simple one that just outlines what Enscholar is and try it is, as a kind of a intermediary for students. and then links to the sites we have. We've had people try that. We've also had people just connect with schools and organizations that we think or that they think might be good partners for us.
Nice.
So, but you know what? Yeah, if you don't have a ton of time, which again is pretty, we expect that. If you can propose something that you would like to do and take initiative on that, then that would be great. We do have team meetings, so we have 2 full team meetings every week, and then we have a content team meeting where we basically find the best resources, curate the content, post it, edit, and so forth. But obviously, being in a different time zone, different continent, if you can take initiative and try things out and create something that we can use and really take initiative and leadership on that, then we'd be happy to call you part of our team.
Very nice. And is it all remote? I'm guessing you don't have a physical office, or how do you manage that?
Yeah, most of our core team is based here in Metro Vancouver, but the fact is that it's just so much easier to work remotely, to connect with each other. And we try to get together in person about once a month. And actually, usually that's not a work session. Usually it's just kind of a social. We go out to eat and talk and interact, because usually when we're online, we're working together. We try to relax in person. But yeah, so how many people do we have in Vancouver? I think we've got about six or seven in Vancouver. We've got a few in Asia. We've got one in Spain helping us out. We've got a number in the US. And in the past, I think we've had about 4 or 5 Brazilians too. But yeah, we've had people from all over the place. We work remotely, and yeah, it helps us keep our overhead down, and yeah, it's been working so far.
Very cool. Awesome. I got a good question here from Marcella about the vision and the future of the project. Kind of where do you see this project going in the future?
Sure. It's interesting you ask that, because right now we are applying for something called the Google Impact Challenge Canada 2017. And Ilya, I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's $750,000 for, I think, 10 nonprofit tech companies in Canada to basically achieve their mission and goal.
Each one gets that much money, or they split the whole? Each one gets that much.
Each one gets that much. Yeah.
Google must be wanting to reducing their taxes, giving away that much money.
Absolutely. And you know what? They run this. I think they spend 20 mil in the Bay Area and also in Australia and in different parts. So they've got the cash. It's almost enough to make you think about starting your own nonprofit. But anyways, we're applying for that, and we're thinking about the future, what we want to create in terms of the features and so forth that we want to develop. Here's the big picture. Here's the big vision. And that is every student on the planet having access to the world's best free educational resources. And that sounds like a big vision, big dream, but basically in practice, we want, as the internet becomes ubiquitous all over the planet. And I was down at Google in San Francisco, or in Mountain View, back in the spring, talking to the director of Google X, who is, has anyone heard of Google X? Maybe? Yeah. Has anyone heard of Project Loon, which is something they're working on at Google X? Okay. So basically they float these hot air balloons, special hot air balloons, up in the stratosphere, up in the atmosphere, and they stream down high-speed internet, and they control these balloons by the altitude. So the higher it is, they can catch these kind of jet streams, and they can move these around and provide rural populations with internet, which I think is amazing. The other thing is, more and more, and this is from a number of organizations, but also through Facebook, they are subsidizing mobile phones all over the world. Whether that's an altruistic move by Facebook or not, I'll leave that up to you. But, in the next 5-10 years, pretty much everyone is going to have some kind of rudimentary device that can connect to the internet. And we want to provide students with the opportunity and the inspiration to really take themselves to the next level educationally, and also with regards to economic opportunity. We want to make sure that students who have the motivation and the drive have all of the resources at hand to educate themselves, regardless of who their teachers are, what community they're in, who's around them. If they've got the drive, they're going to be able to achieve opportunity. And that could be in the form of a scholarship, could be an international competition, could be an internship, could be an event, could be a crowdsourcing project, could be volunteering online, which I think is going to explode in the next few years too. And the idea is that we would like to connect students with similar interests around the world. So say, for example, you've got a very specific interest in, say you like biology, but you're really interested in like viral science. Like, what is a virus? How does it move around? I'm just going to, sorry, plug my, I'm losing some power here. You know, you're interested in something obscure and niche. How do you connect with other people that are also really excited about what you do? So maybe for all of you, say you're a web developer or a designer, and you've got a real passion for helping communities obtain clean water. And you're in high school or you're in university, nobody else around you really cares about that kind of thing. I can guarantee you somebody around the world is also interested in the exact same thing as you, and is probably interested in collaborating with you on some kind of project. That is really, I think, the spark that we hope to ignite innovation and entrepreneurship around the world with young people. So if you've got an idea for some kind of a program, or, you know, hopefully socially based, you know, something that benefits humanity, we want to connect you with other people that share your interests and be able to start those projects. So Enscholar, in what we envision it to be, is a perfect platform, since you have to, you know, identify your interests, strengths, and values to begin with. So we can connect students with that, and also through micro-mentorship. This is the last thing, I know I've been talking for a bit. Micro-mentorship in the sense that, hey, if I want to get into med school and I'm in high school, how can I connect with or talk to somebody, maybe even via a webinar like this, and find out what it's actually like for a student who's maybe 2 or 3 years ahead of me, what it's like to be in school. So for example, for you, in VanHack, it may be, hey, you're talking to like a VanHack alumnus who is now in Vancouver working full-time for Hootsuite, and they're talking about, hey, this is what it's like, this is my process getting into Hootsuite, this is what the hoops I had to jump through with immigration and my visa, this is what a day-to-day is like. So we can scale that and do that for students in a variety of disciplines, whether that's an architecture student or a medical school student or someone in programming and tech. That's something we hope to do as well.
That's fantastic. Very, very cool. Love that. Love the vision. And I think it's just a matter of time with something like that. There's a lot of awesome resources. Yeah, wow. And great question here by Leandro. What about the main issue or problem? Like, so what's in the way of you achieving that vision now?
Yeah, I mean, it's always resources. I think human resources, number one. But the other thing I think is just gaining scale. And getting enough people on board and reaching out, I think, especially in schools, working to create integration into programs that exist. And we've been spending a lot of time trying to create a platform where, you know, users are going to come back on a regular basis. So, you know, most career tools and things, or say, you know, internships.com, scholarship site, you go there if you want to find a scholarship or an internship. What we try to do is create an environment where the content is being updated daily, you can explore, and you've also got other people that are engaging with one another, whether that's through upvoting, creating collections, following other users, so you can see what people are exploring. So we try to make it engaging, but again, we need to scale and reach out to more users, and really the sky's the limit in terms of location, because as long as, you know, English is proficient, then it can be used anywhere.
Sounds like you guys need some social media and marketing volunteers, right?
We need social media. We need people helping us to partner with other organizations. We need people that help us get backlinks to, you know, whether that's being mentioned in a blog or some kind of post or a resources page. A lot of schools will have a page where they can link to different tools for their students to use. So we need a variety of things. Some of them are tech, some of them are non-tech.
Awesome, very cool. So Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are interested. Marcelo, I'm glad you like the project. And I think that if anyone has anything, knows anyone who runs a school or anything related with education, maybe a friend of yours, a family member is connected, this is a chance for you to pitch in and help out. So yeah, don't be shy. Get in touch. And I said again, if someone asked about English, I think it was Pedro. Sorry, not Pedro. Pedro's on answer. Fernando asked about English. How do you deal with that, Isaiah? If someone's English isn't great, what's your approach with that?
Is that for volunteers or for people using the tools?
Volunteers.
Okay. Yeah. So being on say you're on the content team or social media, obviously English is very important. And if your English is not quite there yet, that's okay. In fact, like I said, I'd like to kind of have like a parallel team working in an area such as South America, Central America, and reaching out to people that might benefit from these tools. So that might be an option as well. What I really like is when people propose something, so they spend enough time thinking about what they'd like to contribute specifically, and then give me an outline. Because like I said, we're pretty swamped. We get about 10 applications a week, and it's growing. And if someone comes on and says, hey, I need you to teach me all this stuff. And, we love teaching and coaching, of course, we're an ed tech platform. But in terms of the amount of time it takes, if you've got an idea for something that you could contribute right away, and hopefully can benefit the people around you, then that is, you've got a much better chance of working with us.
Nice. Awesome. And yeah, I think that whole give first, give to get, help out, don't add work to them, take work away from the team. That definitely applies to Enscholar and any other kind of company that you're applying for. Really, really good tip. And what about, Walter asks here about translating to Portuguese or Spanish. Do you guys need some help with that?
So yeah, with the content and the website, I think at this point, just the fact of the amount of time that we have and how we're kind of focused on certain markets to establish ourselves in, especially the US at this point, we are not going to be translating the entire platform. However, as I said, there may be room to create kind of like a parallel site that allows students to kind of learn about the different tools we have in their native language, and then perhaps interact with them that way. So I'm open to things, but in terms of translating the whole site, is it something we're going to pursue before the end of this year? Probably not. But looking ahead, it's definitely something that we'll be interested in. All of the experiences and videos, I believe, especially if they're on YouTube, they're going to have subtitles. So students, so say it's like a science video where they're doing a chemistry experiment and they're talking about it. You should be able to, no matter where you're from, get enough value from that via the subtitles to have it worthwhile. So if it's being used in a school, that might work. But of course, ideally, the English level of the user would be enough to comprehend what's going on. So
cool. Well, I have a simple solution for translating. We use it's called Localizer. It costs about $50 a month, so there's a little bit of cost there, but it's really easy. Where you just put a JavaScript code into the website in the header, and then you can just visually edit. You click on the website, and then on the text you want to edit, and you just like change it. It's really easy. So yeah, it might be something that once you get the Google grant, you can invest a little bit into.
Awesome.
Cool. Great.
And by the way, honestly, about English, I know how hard it is to learn a second language. I'm actually Italian. I've lived in Italy for a bit, and I've tried to learn a number of languages, including Portuguese, when I was down in Brazil. So I respect you for, especially doing something technical and speaking the language. When I was down there, it was mostly social, just interacting, but I realized how much energy it takes to translate things in your head and then put them into practice. So you guys are doing a great thing by trying to expand and reach outside of that comfort zone. So good for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's not easy. And if you want some help with your English, VanHack Premium, 40 hours of English practice per month. I just click on the link there to join our Black Friday promotion. But yeah, we got 15 minutes left here. VanHack rocks. Yeah, I agree. Cool. Walter, see you later. So guys, 15 more minutes here. Whatever questions you have, maybe we can talk about, I think, job hunting in general.
Sure.
I think that might be a kind of cool way to finish here. So, what advice might you give to someone who's looking for a job, as everyone here is, not just necessarily abroad, but just in general. So let's say they land in Vancouver tomorrow. What would you do to increase your chances of getting hired?
I would say number one, and this sounds almost too obvious, but make sure you've got your own personal website with your best work, and make sure that the site is complete. So I'm assuming you're either a designer or a developer, but yeah, just create a simple page. You could even use it creating a WYSIWYG. I don't care, but I just want to be able to see, and I think most employers do, the work that you've completed already. And it's amazing how many people come out of these boot camp, you got Lighthouse Labs up here, you've got Red Academy, you've got a million of them in the States. And you'll say, okay, well, you've been doing like a 4-month program, show me what you got. And they're like, well, it was a class project and I don't really have anything online. Here's a GitHub account. We've got a couple things done. I need to see the finished product. And I think most employers really want to see kind of like what are you capable of doing? Something finished, that you've completed something. So make sure you've got not only the code base, your GitHub account linked, but also your finished product, the front end stuff. I would like to see that, and I think most would as well. The other thing is, make sure you've got a good LinkedIn page. I speak from my experience, and if someone's got a LinkedIn page with like 6 connections, I'm kind of wondering about them. Like either they don't know anybody or they just don't care enough to have a LinkedIn page. I would definitely get that ready to go, and make sure you've got a photo that does not look creepy, because sometimes I come across profiles and it's like everything looks good, and then I look at the photo, I'm like something's not right there, and that could be, if you just don't feel comfortable with someone, I think that could be it too. I like to ask for social media profiles. So I'll say, just feel free, it's optional, but send me a link to your Twitter account, send me a link to your Facebook page, and I'll just quickly scan, or my HR lead will take a look and just quickly scan and just make sure you're a normal human being who seems somewhat responsible. And you'd be amazed at how many people do not have kind of the basics down, right? Like, I know it's Brazil, but if you're not, hopefully not in a bikini in your profile photo, or shirtless or something. Just the little things like that do make a big difference. The other things I would say are, as Ilya said already, trying to not expecting that the company is going to spend a lot of time to teach you everything they need to know before they start getting something back. And I realize most organizations, and the reason why you want to get a job or volunteer is because you want to develop skills, get training, meet people, and so forth. But the fact is, and this is something that we found, and this is not just with international people, this is from people right here in Vancouver, we find that a lot of them get excited about Enscholar, and then it's like, oh, I actually have to do work. Oh, this is kind of tough. And either they drop off, or they say, hey, I've got 20 hours a week, and then it turns into like 3 hours a week, or they miss meetings and things like that. So making sure that before you apply, before any of that stuff, that you've got a very clear idea of how you think you can contribute, knowing the organization. And this is something that I'm sure Ilya has spoken about at length, but you really have to understand what the organization does, who their clients are. Try to dig up as much information, but think about where you can add value. So if you're from Brazil, and maybe there's a company that's doing something similar, or there's an organization that, hey, yeah, this might be an interesting integration that wouldn't cost you any money, but could perhaps expand your user base by 20% or whatever. Those are the types of things, the value adds that you can provide. But of course, it requires a lot of time. So what I would say is, if you're interested in an organization or Scholar or anyone, don't fill the application out today. Wait, look through the site, look through all of the information you can find, and try to think to yourself, okay, like what can move this business ahead, and how can I be a part of that without, like 3 months of training plus, all this time and energy. How can you contribute right away in a way that matters? That's what we're looking for, people that take initiative. And the second thing I look for is just an honest discussion on how this is also benefiting you. So, you get a lot of people that come into the interview and they'll say something like, oh yeah, I love your company. It's so great. It's not just for me in particular, but this is for, most organizations. A person would come in and just, start kind of sucking up, and not that you want to seem like you're indifferent to getting the job. You want to seem like you're excited about getting the job, but you need to make sure that the reasons are specific and that this is the right job for you. And not just because, oh, it's a big company name. I remember when I would apply for some different big organizations in the past, and it was really because I wanted a name brand on my resume. It's not really because I cared about what they did. It's not really because I liked the job or the work. It was just because I needed something, and it was an impressive name and a good title. That is not going to cut it. And if anyone senses that, so if I'm interviewing someone or somebody else is, and they sense that it's just like, oh, I just need something on the resume and this looks pretty good, or some generic stuff about, hey, I want to help kids, or, I like coding and this sounds like a good opportunity, it's probably not specific enough. And good recruiters are going to be able to see through that really quickly.
Nice. Awesome. Really good tips.
Yeah. So maybe a way to, I'll be quick on this. It's better, in my opinion, to apply for one job, but apply really well and just nail it and know everything about that company and be sure that this is the job that you want, as opposed to applying for 10 different companies and doing kind of like a half-assed job. That's my opinion, because even if you don't get the interview or don't get the job right away, you're probably going to work your ass off to get connections within that company. You're going to impress whoever you're applying to or whatever, because they see your in-depth knowledge. They see that you're really intent on this company or this job, as opposed to just the random resume where it's like, well, yeah, this might be a good fit or whatever. We want to know that this is really what you want to do. Otherwise, spend your time on something that you do want to do. Nice.
That's good. Really find the best one for you and go after it. That's great advice. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So any more questions here for Isaiah? I think he gave a lot of really good tips there, especially the don't be in your bikini in your LinkedIn or Facebook picture. I think that was hilarious. It's true.
I have actually had a few people apply and they're in a bikini.
Yeah, guys, keep it professional. You want to be very thorough with this, and I think it's true. Social media really matters. More and more, it's becoming part of daily life, and for jobs, the social HR camp that VanHack was at right now, other people on our team are at right now, and actually I'm going to be speaking at in half an hour, is all about using social media to recruit. So they have a whole one-day conference with 100 recruiters that's going on right now in Vancouver about this. It's a serious topic. We're making light of it, but it's very true. And yes, the idea of find the one job or one or two or three jobs that you really want and go after those. I definitely agree with that. I think when you're abroad, maybe you have to send a lot of applications and it's harder. But you want to do a lot of the networking and put kind of more pressure between, or not pressure, but effort into the top ones. Great. Okay, so we have a question here from Edson. He says, at Java or Android programming, is that something you guys are looking for right now?
Yeah, again, it really depends on what that proposition is. If you wanted to try to build something in parallel to what we're doing to kind of help us promote, or if you were coming on to the actual site itself. Like I said, so Enscholar is built in Ruby on Rails, and try it. We've got basically a WordPress CMS, and PHP is desirable. I mean, and again, it depends on your time, right? If you've got enough time to allocate over the long term, so if you've got over 15 hours a week over the next like 6 months, that might be something we can look at. But at the same time, I'd be interested in hearing proposals of what you think you can do. That's probably the best way to go.
Cool, awesome, yeah. So I think for all the different kind of tech skills like PHP, WordPress, etc., all the other ones, just if you think you can add value, I think he mentioned you guys are looking, or Isaiah, you mentioned you're looking for some PHP. So Fernando, I think that's something that's has a higher chance of working out.
And the other thing is, I mean, in the future we may change how we build things and improve the site. So it's good to keep in touch as well for the future. So if you think, hey, maybe right now is not a good time, but we might be able to use you in the future, or you might, might want to just kind of keep us on the back burner, then that's okay too.
Nice, great, cool. All right, so maybe a couple more questions. Yeah, what's on your guys' mind? Okay, yeah, good question here. What about some of the Brazilian developers that you guys had working with you? How was your experience with them? I don't think there's anyone now, but in the past, maybe with Samuel and some other people, how was your experience with them?
Yeah, I'll be completely honest. Being in a different continent, different time zone, different languages, it can be challenging. And when you're communicating via Skype or Hangouts, which we do, it can be tough too. So it's important that Wi-Fi connection's good, and that you're able to communicate clearly and regularly. One of the good things about the Brazilians that we did have was on Slack, they were very active. They would let us know, this is taking longer than expected. They were communicating with us very regularly. And that's what we like to see. As soon as there's kind of a drop off, we don't hear from somebody for a couple of days, we know that something's probably not going right. So that's something. The Brazilians that we had communicated quite well, but at the same time, we did have some tech difficulties, with internet access and making sure that the audio was clear, especially. So if you are communicating remotely, make sure you're in a good zone, and hopefully you've got some kind of a microphone and headset that works. That makes a big difference.
Nice, yeah. So guys, I just want to give like my 2 cents on that. Don't join this opportunity if you don't know for 100% certainty that you can actually help. This is not something just because it's a volunteer position that you should take lightly, that you should just say, oh yeah, like no worries, I know there's something sometimes in, I'm going to stereotype a little bit here, but in like people from Rio de Janeiro, let's go have a barbecue in my house, but you never actually have the barbecue at your house kind of thing. We don't want that here in Canada, to be very, very blunt. So if anyone's watching this and is thinking, cool, I'm just going to apply and it's going to be easy, fun way, I'm going to get, some experience on my resume, improve my English. No, this is a serious thing. This is an organization that has a lot of volunteers. They have a lot of work, and it's not something that you should just do for fun. And then be the worst. The worst thing would be to join, be there for 1 week or 2 weeks, and then disappear. That will be just such a negative experience. You won't get a recommendation letter. You won't have all the benefits of growing your network, improving your English, and having experience on your resume. So please, and that'll make VanHack look bad too. So please only apply if you're serious, if you're committed, if you're going to do a good job. Otherwise, there's other opportunities out there for you. And just in general, those aren't the kind of people that the companies are looking for. So, be honest with yourself. If this is something for you and you can really put some time into it and you're passionate about it and you're going to do a good job, then awesome, please apply. But if not, don't waste Isaiah's time or your time with something that's kind of halfway. So yeah, a little public service announcement for me on that one, because I don't want people to think that, oh, volunteer, it's easy, it's free. It's definitely not like that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, I will say this, like I do this as well, and I appreciate you mentioning that, because that does save us a lot of time. So do think, if you really want to do this, if you just want to say hi and connect with me on LinkedIn, feel free to say hi.
Yeah, let's share your LinkedIn. Speaking of that,
yeah, I can. Well,
I'll
you can,
put it here.
if you write my name, I think I'm the only Isaiah Baldacera on the planet. Just
I'll
about.
get it here.
I should be able to be found quite easily. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's if you support our mission, but a core team role is just not in the cards for you, that's okay. And I'd still be happy to hear from you. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just give me a shout, or Twitter. I'll give you my Twitter. It's @_ibald, which is, you should be able to see that as well. Yeah, so I appreciate that. And if you want to give me a shout anytime, or I'll just put the social media pages.
Yeah, follow Enscholar on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. Do some research about them. Like as I said, don't apply right away. Think about it. Really research, figure it out. Isaiah, add him on LinkedIn right there. Worst case scenario, you just have one more connection in Vancouver, which is fantastic. Yeah, I think that for those of you who want to volunteer, who are going to make a difference, I think I have a good feeling we're going to find some nice matches here for people who want to help out. So yeah, thank you for those people who are serious and are really going to do a good job and help bring this great nonprofit organization forward. And Isaiah, I see we're out of time, so thank you so much for taking some time on a Saturday to be with us and sharing some great tips. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Ilya, and thank you to the VanHack community. This is something that I've known about. Ilya and I met, I guess it was a couple of years ago, year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love what you guys are doing. And like I said, I've got a soft spot for Brazilians. So, it's good to see you. And if you'd like to connect, feel free. Thank you, Ilya. And yeah, what do we say? Muito obrigado and até logo.
Yeah, you got it. Sounds great. Cool. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes just to answer some questions. But yeah, feel free to sign off if you need to run. But yeah, cheers. So guys, if you have, yeah, our pleasure. Great. Thanks again. Yeah, so that was really great. Isaiah was kind enough to join us on a Saturday, share his project, some really good tips, and you guys actually got 2 hours. For those of you who stuck around for 2 hours, thank you for being here. So yeah, I'm gonna go soon, but first I want to say that we have another webinar tomorrow at 8 p.m. The rest of the webinars are all going to be at 8 p.m. So it's going to be easy for you to remember now. 8 p.m. every night for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday now. 4 more webinars. We've four done, 4 to go. We're halfway through the Canada Summit. For those of you who have been to all 4 of them, thank you so much for hanging out with us. So tomorrow will be Thiago. I won't be here. It'll be Thiago, just him. He's our CTO, and he's also working as a developer, senior developer at a company called PressReader in Vancouver. He has a great story, really persevered through some tough times. He arrived in Vancouver with 0 English, no work visa. He had a student visa, and now he has great English, and he's working at a great company making nice money, and he's there with his family. So anyway, I just wanted to say, guys, if you have any questions now for the next 2, 3, 4 minutes, please ask them. Again, right down here, I've said before, we have our premium area. Got a lot of really great new members that we're excited to work with, help them with their English, help them with their resume, their networking skills, LinkedIn and personal portfolio, as I mentioned. Those are things that we, of course, help with as well. So, we hack together. We're doing this, all together. So you guys have until Wednesday to grab that Black Friday promotion, which is our best promotion ever. So yeah, just click down there and sign up. Takes a second. Cool. So let's get to some questions here. Virgilio, important observation will be a huge will of all, but only who can contribute by focus infrastructure. Yeah, definitely. So Virgilio, if if your skills don't match what they're looking for, don't worry. There's other opportunities out there. They're just like if you guys want to volunteer, there's many other organizations other than Isaiah's Enscholar organization out there. This is just one example of hundreds. Just do some research on Google. Volunteer opportunities for database or network security. I don't know if you'll be able to do those all remotely, but I definitely think maybe just getting in touch with some organizations when you do get to Canada and reach out, and it's a great way to build up your portfolio, as I mentioned, in your network. So yeah, go and get in touch with companies that way. I think that's something that's very, very helpful and something that everyone can do it. It's just a matter of doing some searches on Google. Great. Any other questions, guys? Anything else that that maybe I didn't mention? What would you guys like to know? What would you like to hear? I saw a couple people email me. Marcelo, Samir emailed me. Giuliano emailed me here too. So yeah. Yes, Richardson. We do have 40 hours of interview practice every month. We haven't, we just went from 32 to 40 last week. We increased 8 hours, 2 hours more a week, and we'll probably increase again. And maybe in a month or so, we'll have 48, and then we'll have more and more and more. So that's something you guys should know as well, that VanHack Premium is always getting better. We're always improving our content there. So if you join now, for example, for 6 months, you'll have 240 hours of English practice, and then we'll definitely be, I don't know what we'll be doing, but we always listen to our premium members and improving the site. We just launched an app, so for everyone, download it on your phone. You can take VanHack Premium with you on the bus, on the way to work. You can be listening to the content and the videos and learning. So yeah, it's great. Cool. What are VanHacker success rates on finding a job in Canada? Great question, Douglas. So we have 97 people that have gotten jobs in Canada already. About 40% of those are remote. So yeah, we have those great success cases. Of course, not everyone who joins VanHack Premium gets a job. It's not guaranteed. And a lot of our members, are still in Brazil, still improving English. Like you guys, I think Pedro's still here, but Pedro's a great example. He's someone who joined VanHack Premium with zero English at all, and now he's doing interviews with international companies. Again, VanHack is not just about Canada. We're Europe and other places too. So the amount of VanHackers versus the amount of people who got jobs is I would say is like maybe 10% that actually get jobs or have gotten jobs yet, but many of them are on their way still. They're on the journey to get a job. So it's not like you're going to join VanHack Premium, you're going to get a job next month. That has happened. We had a guy join VanHack Premium and got a job 2 days after through a connection that we made. So it could be anywhere from 2 days to 2 years. The point is that it's a journey for every person. Every case is different. And we have had 97 people get jobs. A lot of them are making over $100,000 or close to $100,000 Canadian, making great salaries, and some of them have even gotten visa sponsor. I think 5 of them have gotten visa sponsors, and that's something that I hope will change soon with this new visa that's coming out. But yeah, cool guys. I just remembered I have to speak at another conference virtually, the one where we were at the Hangout with the recruiter. So I'm actually going to be virtually participating in that conference in about 15 minutes. So I'm going to maybe take one more question, and then I'm going to go get ready for that. It's been 2 hours here in the webinar. So I just want to take a little break before I give another speech. Fabio, it's $45 Canadian each month, which is about 120 reais. It is automatic. You don't have to do anything. You can cancel anytime. It's like Netflix. Cancel anytime. And you can also get 100% money back guarantee on the first 30 days. So if you don't enjoy it, no worries. But that's usually when someone has like a family emergency or something like that. That's very rare that happens. We feel like the value that we give of 40 hours of English for $45, like that's usually how people pay for one hour. So yeah, Fabio, it's automatic. You don't have to do anything. And of course, if you want to cancel, just let us know. No problem at all. Actually, it's kind of our goal for you to cancel because we want you to get hired, so you don't need it anymore. So yeah, exactly. Cool. Oh, Joel, welcome. Yeah, awesome. Awesome to have you. Excited to work together. And we need to have both Joels join. We got one Joel, we got two Joels in the community. I'm just kidding, of course. But no, Joel Ribeiro, welcome to VanHack Premium. Great to have you here or with us in the community. We're going to be working a lot together for the next few months or however long it'll be. You're welcome, Vincent. It's been a lot of fun this Canada Summit. We're definitely going to do something like this again next year. Maybe instead of a Canada Summit next year, it'll be like the International Job Summit or something like that, because we're going to be expanding to Europe, as I keep mentioning. We're going to. The reason actually I'm not going to be able to do the webinar tomorrow with Thiago is that I'm traveling. So we're going to be going to Europe and trying to expand VanHack in Europe. Douglas, welcome. Nice to have you as well, part of the community. Great. We'll talk in Slack. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that next year we'll definitely do a International Job Summit or something like this. And our vision is to be the best international tech recruiting company in the world. So we want to be able the best company to help someone from one country move to another country, especially with tech. We think that's a really cool opportunity and can really help change a lot of people's lives that are in countries like Brazil or Venezuela or maybe Cuba or Nigeria, countries where the quality of life isn't so strong, and to bring them to countries that really need the developers and have high quality of life, like Canada, Germany, Ireland, the Netherlands, Australia, South Africa. Well, South Africa not so much, but there's demand for tech talent everywhere. And just in general, maybe Canadians want to go to Brazil one day. But I think that that's kind of our view. So Richardson, welcome. Yes, let's get you a remote job for sure. That's kind of the first step we like to do, is like remote job first, and then afterwards in-person job. That's you guys all saw the webinar with Nino, or if you didn't see the webinar with Nino, you should definitely go and watch it. It's on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/VanHack. It's the first or second video there. You can see Nino's story. He actually got 2 remote jobs. So Nino's a VanHack Premium member who got 2 remote jobs. One as a CTO of a company, and the other one's part-time. And he's going to be moving to Vancouver in 2 weeks on December 7th. So Richardson, hopefully you can do the same one. Antonio, no, it's $45 per month. And if you want to do 6 months, it's $200. So it's actually even better deal if you just do the 6 months. It's cheaper. I think it's like 30 something a month if you do it that way, which is incredibly a great deal. So if you want to do the 6 months, it's $200. And you get 240 hours of English practice for $200. Where in the world are you going to get less than $1 an hour of English practice with a company, with a teacher that wants to help you move to a country? So it's not just a generic English, it's specific English for tech, for helping you move to the country you want to go to. That doesn't exist anywhere, just here, guys. So yeah, Antonio, that to answer your question. All right, guys, I got to run. I got to go to this presentation now, talking to recruiters and telling them how awesome all of you are. And getting them to work with us to find fantastic talent. So I'm going to go do that. But for everyone who stuck around here for the full 2 hours, thanks for hanging out with me. Tomorrow, you guys have a Douglas. Welcome. I saw you just joined here. Welcome officially. And for 6 months, awesome, man. That's great. Be a long-term VanHacker and get hired soon. It really is a better deal to do it that way. So what I was saying is tomorrow with Thiago, he will be helping you guys out. And definitely 8 p.m. tomorrow. Definitely someone you want to learn from. He's got so much knowledge. Other than me, I would say he's the kind of the second person that in VanHack that has the most knowledge about how to get jobs in Canada. And he can definitely give you a point of view from Brazil, because he's Brazilian, who's now in Vancouver. Welcome again, Douglas. Bye, Fernando. Bye, Antonio. Bye, Esulides. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Okay, guys, thanks again for being with us tomorrow, 8 p.m., Monday, 8 p.m., Tuesday, 8 p.m., Wednesday, 8 p.m. I'll be back on Monday. Of course, you can send me an email anytime. It's just Ilya at vanhack.com is my email. Please reach out to me with any questions you might have. And for those of you who just joined VanHack Premium today, welcome. For those of you who are going to join before Wednesday, welcome in advance. And I'm glad you guys are a part of this. I hope Isaiah helped. And then Thiago's going to help, and then we have a lot more till Wednesday. All right, cool. Hasta la vista. I'll see you guys soon.